She found $8,000 when she had nothing. But the choice she made changed her life forever. Emily had a smile that could brighten an entire coffee shop. Every morning, she greeted strangers with the same warm voice, remembered their favorite drinks, and wished them a wonderful day. To everyone around her, she looked like the happiest girl in town. But the moment the cafe doors closed behind her, the smile disappeared. She walked home alone through streets, filled with people who never noticed. The tears she quietly wiped away before reaching her apartment. 3 months earlier, Emily had lost the only person who truly believed in her grandmother. Before taking her last breath, she gently held Emily's hand and whispered, "No matter how dark life becomes, never let your heart stop being kind." Emily promised she never would. Since then, life had tested that promise every single day. Bills kept piling up. Her rent was overdue. She skipped meals just to keep the lights on. Yet, every morning, she still served coffee with a smile, hiding the pain buried deep inside her heart. One rainy evening, while cleaning the last table before closing, she noticed an old leather wallet lying on a chair. Inside was nearly $8,000 in cash, several bank cards, and a small, faded family photograph. Emily stared at the money. For a long moment, her hands trembled. That amount could solve every problem she had. She could pay the rent, buy groceries, start over. No one had seen her pick it up. No one would ever know. But then her eyes fell on the old family photo. A little girl was hugging an elderly man, both smiling as if they had the whole world. Emily remembered her grandmother's final words. With tears filling her eyes, she closed the wallet, held it tightly against her chest, and whispered, "I may be poor, but I won't lose who I am." She had no idea that returning this wallet would change her life forever. The next morning, Emily walked into the police station with the old leather wallet clutched tightly in her hands. The officer looked surprised when he opened it. "Do you realize how much money is in here?" asked. Emily nodded with a gentle smile. "I know, but it isn't mine." An hour latation Nors. His face was pale, and his hands were shaking. "My wallet. Has anyone found my wallet?" he asked anxiously. The officer pointed toward Emily. "She found it." The old man's eyes filled with tears as he opened the wallet. Every dollar was still inside. But the first thing he checked wasn't the cash, it was the faded family photo. He kissed the picture and let out a deep sigh of relief. "You have no idea what this means to me," he whispered. Emily smiled softly. "I just did what anyone should do." The man looked at her for a long moment. "No," he said quietly. "Very few people would." He introduced himself as Mr. Harrison. The money was meant for his granddaughter's emergency surgery. If he had lost it, the operation would have been cancelled. Emily felt her heart sink. She realized she had almost let desperation make her forget who she really was. Mr. Harrison reached into his pocket and offered her a thick envelope as a reward. Emily slowly pushed it back toward him. "Please use it for your granddaughter," she said. "She needs it more than I do." The old man couldn't hold back his tears. "You're the kind of person this world is missing," he said. Before leaving, he handed Emily a small business card. "If you ever need anything," he said, Call me." Emily thanked him politely, slipped the card into her pocket, and walked away, believing she would never need it. She didn't know that just a few days later, one heartbreaking phone call would force her to make the hardest decision of her life. 3 days passed, and life didn't get any easier. Emily worked double shifts at the coffee shop, but it still wasn't enough. One evening, as she counted the few dollars left in her purse, her phone rang. It was her landlord. "Emily," he said firmly, "if the rent isn't paid by tomorrow evening, you'll have to leave the apartment." Her heart sank. After the call ended, she sat alone in the empty cafe, staring out the rain-covered window. For the first time since her grandmother's death, she felt completely defeated. "Maybe I'm not strong enough anymore," she whispered, as she reached into her pocket for a tissue. Her fingers touched something she had forgotten: the business card Mr. Harrison had given her. She looked at it for a long moment. Her grandmother had always told her, accepting honest help isn't weakness. One day you'll help someone else in return. Taking a deep breath, Emily dialed the number. The phone rang only once. "Emily?" Mr. Harrison answered warmly. "I was hoping you'd call." Her voice trembled. "I'm so sorry to bother you. I just don't know what to do anymore." She didn't ask for money. She simply told him the truth about losing her grandmother, struggling to survive, and trying every day to stay hopeful. There was silence on the other end. Then Mr. Harrison said softly, "Can you meet me tomorrow morning? I think I have something much better than a reward." The next day, Emily arrived at the address on the card. It wasn't a house. It was the headquarters of one of the largest companies in the city. Confused, she stepped inside. The receptionist smiled as soon as she heard Emily's name. "Mr. Harrison has been waiting for you." Emily's hands began to shake. She had no idea that the man whose wallet she returned wasn't just a grateful grandfather. He was about to offer her an opportunity that could change her life forever. Emily followed the receptionist down a long hallway, lined with awards and photographs. Every frame carried the same name: Harrison Foundation. When the office doors opened, Mr. Harrison stood by the window with a warm smile. "I'm glad you came," he said. Emily looked around the luxurious office, still unable to believe what she was seeing. "You own this company?" she asked quietly. He nodded. "My family built it over 40 years. But money isn't what makes me proud." He paused before looking directly into her eyes. "People like you do." Emily lowered her head, embarrassed. "I only returned what belonged to you." Mr. Harrison smiled. "Exactly. You were given every reason to keep that wallet, and every excuse. But you chose honesty." He placed a folder on the desk. "I've been searching for someone to help manage our community outreach program. The job isn't about business, it's about compassion. After what you did, I believe you're the right person." Emily's eyes widened. I don't have a college degree." "You have something far more valuable," Mr. Harrison replied. "Character can't be taught." Slowly, she opened the folder. It was a full-time position with a salary higher than she ever imagined. Health insurance, and even a small apartment provided by the foundation. Emily covered her mouth as tears rolled down her cheeks. This can't be real." "It is," Mr. Harrison said. But there's one condition. Emily's heart skipped a beat. Promise me that no matter how successful you become, you'll never stop helping people the way you helped me. Without hesitation, Emily nodded through her tears. I promise. For the first time in months, she felt hope instead of fear. But as she walked out of the office with the job offer in her hands, she noticed a young homeless girl sitting alone outside the building, shivering in the cold. Emily stopped. Something inside her told her that this little girl was about to change her life, just as much as she was about to change the girl's. Emily slowly walked toward the little girl sitting on the sidewalk. She couldn't have been more than 8 years old. Her thin jacket was soaked from the rain, and she held a small teddy bear with a missing eye. Hi, Emily said softly. What's your name? The little girl looked up with frightened eyes. Sophie, she whispered. Are you here alone? Sophie nodded. My mom went to look for work this morning, but she never came back. Emily's heart broke. Without thinking twice, she bought Sophie a warm meal, a blanket, and stayed with her until the police safely reunited her with her mother later that evening. As Emily watched them hug each other with tears of joy, she remembered her grandmother's words. Kindness always finds its way back. Months passed. Emily began working at the Harrison Foundation. She didn't just do her job, she changed lives. She organized food drives, helped struggling families, and created programs for homeless children. One day, Mr. Harrison smiled and said, You know, I thought I was giving you a second chance. But the truth is, you gave this foundation a new heart. Years later, Emily opened a small community center in her grandmother's name. Above the entrance was a simple message. Choose kindness, even when life isn't kind to you. People from all over the city came there for hope, food, education, and support. Thousands of lives were touched because one young woman chose honesty over desperation. Emily often looked at an old photograph of her grandmother and smiled. I kept my promise, she whispered. The greatest miracles don't always begin with wealth or power. Sometimes they begin with a broken heart that refuses to stop being kind.